So let us continue working in Python with hashtag working with numbers. Number is a very common data type, and let's start by printing some numbers, right? So let's print. Let's print the number 2 and press play. There you go, number 2. Well, what about if we print a number with decimals? 2.0987. There we go, it prints it, so it reads decimals as well. What if we print a negative number? Does it work? Minus 2.0987. Run that. Yep, reads that perfectly. Great. What if we want to make some additions? 3 plus 4.5. What does it do? 7.5. So it does additions. What about subtractions? 3 minus 1. And while we're at it, let's try making divisions. Divide it by 2. And let's try making multiplications. 3. 3 times 3. Let's print it all out. Let's see what it says. So 3 plus 4.5 is 7.5. Correct. 3 minus 1 is 2. Yes. 3 divided by 2 is 1.5, and 3 times 3 is 9. So you can do all your basic algebraic equations in here. What if we do two different things? What if we do 3 times 4 plus 5? Okay. Then we'll compare that answer to 3 times, open brackets, 4 plus 5. Okay, so what's the difference here? Let's see. One is 17, the other one 27. Why is that? Because it's basic maths. So when you if you remember your primary school maths, if you have numbers that are not in brackets, you have a lot of different things to do, like multiply or add. Multiplication takes precedent over everything else. So what a computer does is goes, okay, I need to first do 3 times 4, which is 12, and then plus 5, goes 17. If you do it this way, it says, okay, the first thing I have to do is get whatever value it is in that bracket. So it's 4 plus 5, which is 9, and then it goes 3 times that value, which is 27. So the way that you write it up does count. So what if we do it this way? Print 10 and modulo mod 3. What does this do? It says 1. What does that do? Well, what it does is it takes the first number and then it divides it by the second number and then gives us the remainder. So this actually gives us the remainder. So that's interesting. Some interesting stuff. What if we want to store it in a variable? There we go. My number is equal to 5. So let's print it. Print my number. Whoops. Yep. 5. Perfect. So what if we want to convert it to a string? What if we want to convert that into a string? Where we go print, open brackets, str, which is the command to convert something into a string. And we convert whatever the value of this variable is into a string. It's still 5, right? That's perfect. What if we want to add, if we want to do this? What if we want to say that 5 is my favorite number and print it out? So we go 5, or in this case our variable, my number, plus my favorite number. Oh, 5 space is my favorite number. Let's press play. Oh, you'll see that it has an error. And it tells us my num plus is my favorite number. Unsupported operand it's trying. You can't add an integer and a string. Why is that? Well, this variable is actually a number. It's an integer number, meaning that it's a whole number. It could be a float if it was point something, but it's an integer number. So it's saying that I can't do this because this is not the same data type as that. So that's why we need to convert it into the same data type in order to manipulate it together. So if we do it this way, see, no error, and it says 5 is my favorite number. In the same way, if I do print string open brackets, my number, and then I do plus 5, so I go like this. Let's copy that. Just copy that down here. And that plus 5, is it going to give us 10? No, it gave us an error. Why? Well, because this is a string now. It's not an integer number. But if we just let it be a number, it'll be 10. So remember that you can only interact with the same data types together. So let's look at some other maths functions, okay? What if we go print ABS my underscore number, and press play. It gives us 5. Well, it gives us the absolute value, which is 5 in this case. What about print pow? It tells us, open brackets, 3,2. Press play. It's 3 to the power of 2. That's what it gives us. Print, open brackets, max. And it needs a lot of arguments. But in this case, we'll give it 2 arguments. Or a 6. Press play. It gives us 6. So what it does is it returns the highest number out of whatever it is that I give it. So what if we print min for 6? So give those 2 numbers, press play, 4. So it gives us the smallest number out of the values that we give it. What if we print round, open brackets, 3.2? It rounds up that particular number in there. Well, there's more functions. In order to do some more functions, we're going to have to import some a library from Python. So Python has a lot of hidden libraries. In order to run some of them, you have to import them. Okay, so in this case, we want to import, well, we can say from math import. You can say it like that. Import something. But in this case, we're going to import this. Okay, from math, import this. Math is a library. You can just say import math, but from math, import this. This is what's called a module, right? This is a module. So if we do that, within math, there are modules that are written under there. And we write, okay, what if we print floor 3.7 and press play. 3. So it gets us it rounds it to the smallest number. And if we didn't have this line, so if we cancel this line out, right? you'll see that it gives us an error because it doesn't know what floor is, because it doesn't have that module to tell it that floor does this. So we're going to import that and we're going to let it run. So what about print ceil 3.7? What does that do? Well, it gives us the ceiling of that number, as high as it can go in rounding up. So if you want to round up or round down, that's how you would do it. What about if we get a square root? So we can go print square root of 36. And press play, 6. So 6 is the square root of 36. You can play around with it if you want. So let's try and do some challenges. Part 1 of the challenge is get number 100 from using only 4 nines. Okay, so we're going to get the number 100 from using only 4 nines. Then the second challenge would be to get 556 using least amount of numbers from the set of 58, 3, 7, 2, and 10. Let me just put it like this. It's better because it's like a list. And the third part to the challenge, sorry, would be, well, how do you get 556 using all of the above numbers? Okay, it's a bit mathematical, but it's good to start thinking about how to join and do things using the print command. So pause the video and let's try doing this together, okay? Let's go print for the first part. We're only using 9. So what if we go 99 plus 9 divided by 9? What does that give us? Whoop, 100. Perfect. Okay, what if now, for the second part, the fewer number that we can go 50 times 10. That'll give us 500. Plus, we need 56. 8 times 7. What does that give us? 156. Perfect. And we only used 4 of those numbers. All right. Well, what about the other one? Print, open brackets. This is going to get a little bit interesting because the first thing we have to do is we have to place in here 50 minus 7. All right. And whatever the answer to that is, we want to multiply by 3. But that is its own number, right? Sorry, its own number. So you can see. After that, we wanna plus 10 it. So close that again, because we want that to be its own number again. And then we want to multiply it by 8. Again, that's its whole number, so we want to create more brackets. So now, what we've done is, basically, this whole thing becomes one number. So it's this number, gets multiplied by 3, and then this whole equation, plus 10, and then this whole equation times 8. And then if we divide the whole thing by 2, let's see what it does. Divide the whole thing by 2. 556. Perfect. So we found the answer. So that concludes working with numbers for now. let's continue on with inputs.